Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching. My name is Ethan Frelly. I'm actually in Denton, Texas, which is 35 minutes north of Dallas, 35 minutes north of Fort Worth. Kind of comes to like a triangle right at the top, and that's where I am. Although I wasn't here a year ago. So if you are planning on following along and watching along, I'm going to go over my fun story about how I ended up, one, in Portland a year ago, and then two, how that's changed now, and now I'm in Denton, Texas. And a lot has gone into that decision, and a lot went into that actual change. Um, and now I live in a brand new neighborhood that's still getting work done. I still have people driving around honking. That's the lunch person looking to feed the neighbor or the person that's building the house behind me. The joys of a new construction neighborhood. But I really hope that you end up tuning in and watching. I plan to do a series of we're going to start at the end, and then we're going to go back and start how I see how it started, and see my struggles, the fun stuff, the hard stuff, and I'll definitely take you along the different paths of things that you could have done and things that I could have done, and maybe you learned something along the way. You're definitely gonna have some fun. I'm gonna tell you some fun stories, and thank you so much for watching. But I'm gonna start this off with okay. So a year ago, today's May 5th, May 6th, something like that. So a year ago, I had already come. I was actually just planning to come to the Dallas area in the middle of May. Actually, this would have been the second time that I came. The second time I came was with my wife and my youngest daughter Julia, and we came for 3 days. We put, probably about 300 miles on a rental car, and just drove around. And we actually ended up here. This was actually the home that we ended up last looking at, was actually this home. So kind of funny, full circle, almost a year ago. And it was really the view off of this awesome balcony in the front that I have, that really kind of got me to really love this home, and the fact that it's got lots of windows and all that other stuff. But all that to say, about a year ago was the first time I stepped foot on this property, and I'd already come once as a visit. This would have been my second visit. So I'm going to leave you with how I came about with Dallas, and also how I came about with why should I move, right? Why should I move? So and I'll start with that one. We had been going through the COVID lockdown for going on probably a year and a half at that point. My business had pretty much gone fully virtual. My wife had no opportunity to really work. She'd been going back and forth, but COVID kept on shutting them down. And my home values went up, just because in the market that I was in, it ended up just helping a lot. I was in Portland, so Portland housing market shot up pretty quickly, and COVID didn't really stop that. And I had just finished a grueling $60,000 remodel in my house, which took way too long. Learn from my mistakes with that one too, and vet your contractors. That's for sure. But after doing this remodel, after seeing that I could do my business virtually, after seeing all the equity that I had in my house, I had a pretty big decision to make, because as a business owner and as a real estate agent, it's hard for me to say no to an opportunity to make money when that's my business. So I thought, okay, well, if I can do this virtually anywhere, if I have this extra money, where am I going to go? And it's always the conundrum that we always have to deal with as real estate agents, especially with working with sellers who turn around to be buyers. Is that, well, I'm going to sell in a high market, now I have to buy in a hard market. Well, I wasn't necessarily married to staying in Portland, so I expanded my search. And how it came to Dallas, well, somehow I don't know whether it's divine calling or something. I was called to the South somehow or another. I looked at Florida. I looked at the Carolinas. Looked at Tennessee. Ended up in Texas. As far as just like, okay, well, we zeroed in on Texas as the state. almost ended up in Houston. And the funny story is, anytime that I ended up talking to somebody who was from Texas and who did not like Texas, I'd always ask, well, where are you from? And they'd always say, well, we're from Houston. And it just ended up being that Houston is pretty grueling as far as with their humidity. And I'm not a big person for humidity. It's actually kind of humid now. I'm sure you can hear the wind going. It's bringing in the humidity. But it's not as humid here. And then everybody who said that they liked living in Texas and that they were thinking about moving back, they were all from Dallas. So that kind of got me thinking, let me look at Dallas. Dallas has a really strong real estate market. It's had a strong real estate market for quite some time. And now after being here for the 8 months now, it's not going to stop. So it's pretty cool as a real estate agent to see that there's continuous growth that's going to be happening. So I hope that you enjoyed that story. Like I said, we're gonna start from the well, we started with where I am, and then we're gonna go all the way back to where I started from, and I'm going to tell you the different steps that I took to knocking down the different things that we had to do off of our checklist, and hopefully you'll pick something up fun. Hopefully you learn some stuff, and thank you so much for liking my videos. Thanks so much.